let's learn CSS. Okay, so what CSS stand for? Cascading Style Sheet. So it's pretty much just style your web page. Like instead of, if I want to change the background of this page, so in the body I could just go to background attributes, right? And you can browse images, right? So you just change the background, right? Or if you just say bg color, so that's another attributes, right? And then you can just pick the color, then the background will be changed. Right. You actually can use CSS to control. So CSS pretty much just say, instead of calling body, this is the body elements, right? So it's gonna go with the elements that you refer to and the attributes values and the values of the background. So like, for example, I don't want to use this anymore, the attributes, right? So I'm going to use CSS to control this. What I do is, first I need to know where to put my CSS code. It can be internally and it can be externally. Internally, that means it's going to reside inside your head section here, right? External mean it can be in different file and you just include the file in here. So let's put inside, right, internally, right? CSS how to. So pretty much just do this link rel equals style sheet, just like the one that you do for like your icon right here. It's rel icon, but this one is style sheet. Type text /CSS and href. Right, so that is external actually, right? That's external to the external style sheet file. But internal, we just pretty much just add, right? Add this inside the head section here, right? And embed inside a style tag, like JavaScript, like when you do script tag. But this is just style, right? Alright, so you see that, so background color has been changed. So that pretty much is like a CSS. This is an internal CSS. External, pretty much the same code, but you just copy this inside your, create a new file, new, and make CSS, and just paste that code here, and save this with a name. Like now I'm going to name it style.css. Like normally we create a folder named CSS and then style. Like you may see Bootstrap pretty much is in there too when we use Bootstrap, right? We happen to create a style for like CSS folder, and this is the Bootstrap that we control for the mobile, right? Page view, mobile support. Now if you do that, then you come back, you just do link, right? Instead of this, you say link rel equals to style sheet, and then type, right? Just like when you do type text CSS, like type JavaScript. Now you just need to do href to where the file is, which is under CSS and style, and then just close it, so it works the same. So this is called external CSS. You pretty much has to know this for your test too. In final exam we are talk about this, how to do external style sheet and internal style sheet. Now, this is basic CSS. Now we said, okay, we understand that whenever we deal with CSS, we refer to the elements, right? And the attributes and then the values, right? After colon and semicolon at the end. You can control like the colors using these colors. Backgrounds, we just show you background color, background image. You can change the image, make it repeat, right? So let's try. This is image, right, as the paper, right? So you can change image like that. You can do repeat X, so it's keep repeating. It's just small image, right? Make it title like a banner image. Repeat X, right? If you do repeat Y, it's gonna do repeat Y like that. That's small image. Keep repeating. So that's how we start to style your page. We can make a border look like that in your text, right? You can make like margins. Instead of last time we used table to style our form, we actually can use margin to style if you want to make this like shifting it. Let's say, for example, okay, body. So I want to control body, put margin. Margin, let me just fix. This is like X padding. This is like padding to the left, top, bottom, and right. Okay. So if I keep adding the padding, maybe I should add more on to here. Let's look at when I put to 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, it's shifting. Now if I say, okay, 50, so it's shift down. So it's padding to the top, right? So this is like to the top. But when it's too much, then it's not going to do anything because there's limit. That's pretty much why it's not shifting. Let's say 80. Let's take H2 out. So shift back up. So if I do, this is like, yeah, make shipping down too. So first you need to understand, right? You can do border, margin left, and so on. So this is pretty much explaining how this works, right? The margin. So it's used to generate space around the elements. Set the size of the white space outside the border, right? So like I said, top, right, bottom, left, right? So you can do, if you combine them together, you pretty much just do top, right, bottom, left like that. Or you can do in one line like that. Top, right, bottom, left. Right, you can move this paragraph pretty much when you put in the div section. Right. So this just create a border. See the style right there, you create a border. But this is a margin. So let's say if I put 0. So it's gonna go back, right? Because this is top. But if I put 200, it's gonna shift down. right? So when you style like this, you normally like to do style inside the div. Like for example, I want to use div here to start this whole form, input form section, right? And then I can just, since I use external style sheet, I can just switch to my style and put div right there, right? So if I switch back, I pretty much just control the layout, right, of this page. I put a border around it. This one has border too because I happen to have two div, right? So if we don't want div, we can just say change this to P, which is, it's just gonna get element by ID anyway. So see that? So we can center that, right? Or style this to the way that we want. Now you can also go down here and change in Dreamweaver. Then you don't have to switch back and forth between file, right? And then you can just control the values from here, top, left, right? Let's say let's go to the sequence. You can look at top, right, bottom, left. Okay, that's right. It's just pushing the margin gaps, right? All right, so now you should pretty much just change the value of the number to make it to the way that you want. Like that's why we don't want it to go too much to the bottom. Then we just change it. It's going to shift to the top like that. All right. So that's how we use the CSS for margins. We can have paddings. Padding, you pretty much just put inside, right, the border. Those are paddings, right? Like if I do padding top 0, you see this going to shift back to the top, right? Padding inside. Like now, we might want to use padding too. So we could just go and add, right, style padding right there, right? And you see start to pad, right, to your border. So that's how you style the page to make it look nicer than before. So that's how you use CSS. So you may go to this list, but what I want to show you is we want to use animations, right? We can control animations look like that. This is in CSS3, right? So let's say if I want to move an image, right? So they have keyframe rule. So when you specify CSS style inside the keyframe rule, the animation will gradually change from the current style to the new style at certain times. To get animation to work, you must bind animation to an element. Like for example, so you just add animation name, right, and animation duration right there, right? So what we gotta do, we pretty much just add animation name and animation duration, and you just use keyframe, right? So we will add keyframe. This is going to be inside your CSS code, right? And then you add the background color to it, and look at this. it's going to change.